Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi will this afternoon deliver the State of the Province address. Issues like service delivery are expected to take centre stage. SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa joins us live from NASREC, getting a sense of expectations ahead of that all-important address. Good afternoon, Mbali. Just take us through some of the expectations from political parties. What do they want to hear from Premier Lesufi?
Well, so far what we've heard is that Action SA has cautioned South Africans and more specifically Gauteng residents of what they are saying is going to be a wish list really of unrealistic expectations, and that is what they believe is going to come out of the State of the Province address. You will remember that last year when the Premier delivered his maiden State of the Province address, he was met by criticism from opposition parties saying that the speech was really just a pipe dream. And we later then saw the introduction of the police wardens, and these wardens, or rather crime prevention wardens, at the time the Premier had spoken about getting helicopters and also getting CCTV cameras in communities and in high crime areas in order to combat crime. This was then followed by the introduction of those crime prevention wardens, which used to fall under the police division and were later removed from there. We've also seen criticism from opposition parties accusing the Premier of using this very program as an electioneering scheme and as an opportunity to hire people who are within the party and also to keep their votes and to buy their votes. Now, you know that the upcoming elections Gauteng is going to be highly contested, as many do believe that there is a chance that the ANC might be voted out or might lose power in Gauteng. The DA over the weekend saying that they will not be opposing the Premier or the ANC. However, they are going to defeat the ANC in the upcoming elections, provincial and national elections. Right now, I'm joined by someone from the office of the Premier, who's also just going to talk to us about what we can expect. Just briefly, the Premier did allude to the fact that he would be prioritizing issues such as economic recovery, as well as crime prevention, as well as load shedding in the State of the Province address today. We've seen him on what seems to be a campaign, or not necessarily a campaign, but we've seen him on the road trying to re-electrify communities, repairing transformers and replacing transformers, and also just working with both Eskom and City Power in the province to ensure that places or communities that have not had electricity for more than 2 years because of damaged transformers and have not been repaired, the Premier has stepped in using the provincial government's budget to try and assist those communities. I'm joined by Vuyomaka. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Now, we've seen a lot of criticism from opposition parties, and I mean, what have you managed to achieve in the past year since the last State of the Province address? I mean, we've heard about those panic buttons. Did we manage to see that picking up?
No, thank you very much. I think let's leave the opposition to do their job. As you're correctly saying in your intro, initially they said it was a pipe dream. When it was happening now, they started to change, to say it's electioneering. Speaking to you now, before the Premier actually comes inside the house, he would be actually giving a guide of salute with the whole security cluster. If you go there, you see young and men who have actually been quite helpful in actually fighting the crime back. In Gauteng, speaking to you now, you can hear the helicopters that the Premier did speak about. They are there, they belong to the Gauteng province, and there are other areas around the Municipal. But if you have to talk about the issue of transformers, for example, because this is a report back, you've got about more than 2.3 million Gauteng residents who are out of electricity, with or without load shedding. And the Premier said, although it is not the provincial responsibility to issue electricity, but these people are residing within Gauteng, actually where then intervene there, and actually what that program is doing quite well. You'll also hear the Premier now saying what are other interventions that we must then do within the municipalities, because the reality of the municipalities is that they are no longer capable as they used to do before. But going forward, he will then obviously ignite the imagination of the Gauteng residents about the Gauteng of the future.
Now, I'm glad that you've touched on the state of the municipalities in the province, and many of whom are seemingly struggling financially. There are those who have said that there needs to be an overhaul of the funding model, and others are blaming the inability to deliver services by municipalities on coalition governments. And we know that the ANC is in coalition in the city of Ekurhuleni and the city of Johannesburg. City of Ekurhuleni is facing financial troubles, was not able to deliver its financial statements. City of Tshwane is also in financial turmoil at the moment. What do we see happening to assist those municipalities?
I think those, of course, who are in the political space will be able to expand on the workings or not workings about the coalition. But the reality of the matter is that majority of the municipalities in Gauteng in many are facing that particular challenge. There seems to be incapacity or incapability of those who are in the helm to really transform the lives of the people for the better. That's what I'm saying now. The Premier then says we can't fold our arms. We must find the means and the ways to intervene, and hopefully today in the evening he will be able to explain and expand to the residents of Gauteng what will the provincial government do to make sure that we assist the municipalities, in particular when it comes to service delivery, like the refuse dumps. I mean, if you go to the capital, it's literally in a very sorry state, even in Johannesburg. So what then do we do? And I think that Premier is going to expand on those particular points.
Okay. Now, speaking on the state of the finances of these municipalities, and we know that Cocta falls under the province. Are we going to be seeing some form of assistance in that regard?
No, there's a continued engagement with municipalities. Of course, there will be those municipalities that might actually resist the intergovernmental relations, but we are continuously assisting them. For example, in Mfuleni, we are trying to assist them, including with the water crisis. The Premier has been in the forefront. As I've said, in the issue of ESCOM, we've been in the forefront to make sure that we broker some arrangement between the municipalities and those entities that they might actually own. But it's quite difficult to operate when people don't want to cooperate, and ultimately the residents are the one who normally suffer. We hope going forward, a lot of those in the local level will be actually able to put politics aside and make sure that our people are in the forefront, and there is an intergovernmental relations that actually happens, because that is really the ideal going forward.
Okay. Now, last year we saw education getting the lion's share, and with regards to the schools that were intended to be built, how many of them have been built so far? Or should we speak to the MEC of for education?
No, you can actually speak to the MEC. There are a lot of them. There's a change of model. I think the Premier will speak about it in terms of accelerating the building of the schools. But what is important for us in Gauteng is to convert those schools to be schools of specialization, so that when the kids leave, they live with one skill or the other. I mean, we just, the MEC of Education just launched the School of Energy. So when these young people will know how to do, the solar panels and all that, from that age, growing up, they've got a particular skill. And that's the focus of the Gauteng government.
Thank you so much. That is Vuyo Maga speaking to us. He is from the office of the Premier, just giving us an update and giving residents as to what they can expect to come out of that State of the Province address that we will be hearing a little bit later on today. Now, what is quite interesting is that we might hear plans to intervene in the state of municipalities. Municipalities have so far been unable to deliver services, refuse collection collapsing in some communities or in some municipalities, as well as other issues, financial issues and so on. These are some of the challenges that municipalities are faced with right now.